A wise man once said that a journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. The journey which will begin here today is of no exception. I am here today to announce my candidacy for the mayor of the city of Wilmington. I have lived in Wilmington almost my entire life. My 3 children have been born in Wilmington. 2 were born in Browntown and 1 was born in Hedgeville. I was married in Wilmington. I've been in this neighborhood practically my entire life. There's nothing like living in this great city of Wilmington. My public service journey started 22 years ago in this community when a group of concerned citizens, Cindy Yoder, Greg Lavelle, and Paul Falkowski and myself, formed what is now known as the Browntown Community Association. From there, I took a more active role in the political arena, and in 1992 won the seat of Wilmington City Council for the 6th District. And I've had the honor of serving for almost 20 years in that seat. But with the encouragement of the community, friends, and family, and my own passionate belief that this city is in dire need, pretty good with my hands too, of change, I'm giving up my seat on City Council and embracing the challenge of becoming the next mayor of the city of Wilmington.
All right.
That's not going to stay, is it? You got it? I am running for mayor because as a city, we can be better and we deserve to be better. Wilmington needs a public servant, a leader who is visible, who is effective, and a leader who will make our neighborhoods and thereby our city a safe and prosperous place to live and work. Together, we can make this vision a reality. I'm an individual who is out every day being visible. No matter what happens in this city or my district, you need to be present so people know when you can be supportive. Whether it's something bad going on or something good going on, Kevin Kelly is always there to try and help and see what he can do to assist people. To make this happen, we have to stop what we are currently doing because it's not working. We need change, real change. We need to bring fresh new ideas to the table and work together to overcome the obstacles that keep us from achieving greatness. What does it make Wilmington a city that people never leave? Well, it's our strong sense of community. A friend of mine from out of town often jokes that when you go outside in Wilmington, you better make sure you're dressed well because somebody's going to see you and tell somebody else what you look like. We are a city where everybody's either related to each other or knows somebody firsthand. That's what makes us a strong community. But he's right. We live in a modern city that's also at heart a small town. Unlike other cities, we are not cold and anonymous, but a fabric of neighborhoods woven together. We are friends, families, and neighbors. We know each other. The focus of my campaign is going to be on the restoration of neighborhoods. I started a neighborhood foundation. I've lived in a neighborhood my whole life. That is what my focus will be on. The neighborhoods are the bedrock of our community and must revitalize and strengthen them in order to improve the current state of the city. Toward that end, the following areas will be my focus: public safety, youth services, education, economic development, housing, and a responsive government. The sad truth is that our neighborhoods are under attack. I'm preaching to the choir here. We all live in neighborhoods, and we've seen the decline of our neighborhoods through the last few years of different people inflicting their way of life upon us, and that's not the way we want to live. With your help, I intend to fight back. If residents do not feel safe, especially our seniors, their neighborhoods will become more vulnerable and at risk. My plan calls for an implementation of true community policing, whereby patrol officers will be dedicated to specific neighborhoods. Community policing will be the strong point of neighborhoods. This will create conditions for officers to interact more effectively with the community, to regain the relationships and trust that have been lost by citizens and officers alike. Officers will also be encouraged to give back to their communities, to volunteer at nonprofit organizations, at churches, and community associations. High crime areas will be the objective of intensive community policing. Neighborhoods and police will be given the tools to work smarter to reduce crime. We will create a more nimble, flexible, and accessible police force to ensure public safety. It is a proven fact by the community policing officers who have worked in this neighborhood, when you have a relationship with a police officer, people are more likely to let the officers know what's going on with crime and have an interaction with them to be able to work together and make the neighborhoods better. The men and women of our fire department continue to provide outstanding service to our city. However, aging equipment and the condition of their fire stations are of a concern. We must continue to seek grants and other sources of funding to maintain the integrity of the department. In the long run, no community policing plan can be effective unless it addresses the youth in our city. Today, it is more challenging than ever to be a young person in the city of Wilmington. Today's youth face challenges that many of us did not have to face back in the day. Less job opportunities, gang violence, fractured family environments are all part of today's reality. But we can draw constructive lessons from the past and bring back some of the things that help young people. I stand today before you as a product of the city's Parks and Recreation Department and the Boys and Girls Club. For without those two organizations, I don't know where I would be. I started out long ago going to Pulaski School after school and recreation. I spent my entire life in that gym playing basketball. I spent all my time during the summer in a park playing sports. That's what kept me out of trouble. So what we need to do is bring back the value of that cooperative government and nonprofit organizations have. Institutions like these have to support the important role that play in shaping the lives of our youth. When homicide is the leading cause of death for city teenagers aged 15 and 19, we have some work to do. Again, we're not in a third world country. That's homicide. It's taking the lives of our young children. We must expand safe havens. And safe havens are programs where we open up recreational facilities for kids to play at night after school and on weekends. We must reestablish youth outreach workers. That's where outreach workers go out onto the street. They talk to young people, find out what's on their minds, try and help them out, and always look out for them. And we must move forward with the implementation of the Wilmington Youth Commission. This can only be done with the cooperation of nonprofits, churches, and other in the business community. We must also bring our youth to the table and allow them to assist in the decision makings that we make, for they have ideas and they have things that we need to listen to. Here in Browntown, the Browntown Community Association has established its own youth council, and I would like to have them take the opportunity to be acknowledged. These youth have decided to take action to improve their neighborhood. Yvette, could you stand with your few folks, please? And I'd also like to recognize the young people who came from St. Elizabeth's today to hear my speech. Many I know on a first-hand basis. I sit behind the basketball coach. I think I'm the fourth coach with Coach Ferrier and scream and holler at the girls playing basketball, but let's have them stand up too. And also like to recognize Malik Muhammad, who's here from the Parkway Academy in the old St. Hedwig School, who's always looking out for the children in this neighborhood. Thank you. As chair of the Economic Development Committee, I understand the challenges the city faces in creating and retaining jobs. Solid progressive economic development is the product of creating opportunities, policies that ensure fairness, and a workplace committed to improving skills. Wilmington, with its port, corporate and banking operations, access to highway and rails, is the engine for Delaware's economic growth. We have a productive partnership with the state, and we need to work even more closely to attract and retain and grow jobs. For our part, we face special challenges. The downsizing of the credit card and banking industries has decreased job opportunities that were once plentiful. We must have a commitment to developing the talent that remains from the shrinkage by taking a creative role in assisting in the growth of high-tech consulting, manufacturing, and service industries. I propose that we focus our physical development on several areas of the city: the 7th Street Peninsula, the 12th Street area, and here close to our own place, the old Wilmington Shops on Maryland Avenue. These are all areas that can take advantage of our regional access and infrastructure, and with proper incentives, we can convert these areas into high-performance job centers. I'm not going to come here and tell you I'm going to wave a magic wand and create all these jobs tomorrow. It can't be done. We need resources from the state, but we also have to train people for the jobs that are now available. Economic development is not just a downtown issue. Opportunities exist in our neighborhoods. Neighborhood businesses grow when there is increased public safety. When people feel safe, they're going to grow this city. And just with a stable housing stock and income to spend with neighborhood businesses. Developing our workforce from the neighborhood out is important. As mayor, I will support disadvantaged business enterprises and will work to move and strengthen them by adopting the state standards for disadvantaged business enterprises. My goal is to try and make sure that we have ability for people and small businesses to gain jobs from the government and be able to create their businesses and expand them. This will help in our neighborhoods. It only takes one nuisance or one deteriorating house to block or disrupt the neighborhood. All of us have a house that's like that in our neighborhood. One of those houses gets people to move, causes so many problems, and it's very frustrating for the police and everyone to take care of them. We must be more aggressive and hold owners of these properties accountable. Violators should be published on the internet. You should be able to punch in 1401 Banning Street, where I live, and see how many violations did that house have. Because you may have called about it and nothing was done. But we need to get information out to people so they know what's going on. In addition, L&I needs to work closely with the state to target questionable businesses. We need to come in with the ABC and others in public health to shut down businesses that are not operating correctly in our neighborhoods. Vacant properties continue to be registered. Through our program of City Council, we've reduced the number of vacant properties in the city, but there still are many more out there. They need to pay their fines for not having them registered. We also need to make sure that L&I works correctly. All too often I hear from somebody say, Kelly, I don't do any work in the city. I said, why not? I just can't get along with L&I. They're just too much of a stickler for this, that, and the other. They don't treat everybody consistent. When we have that, we're not having people come in the city who are going to offer the same services that you can get somewhere else. The foreclosure crisis in the economy has severely impacted our housing stock. More and more homeowners are going to share a sale. The city has a responsibility to collect on the debt that is owed to them, but we must do everything possible to support and work with homeowners to prevent legal action. I don't want to be a mayor who's foreclosing on somebody because they couldn't pay their mortgage payment or their water bill was high. We don't want somebody's house. We want to work with them to be able to get them to pay us back our fair share. But at the end of the day, if we do have to take their house, we want to give it to a nonprofit developer such as River's Edge or Cornerstone West and let them develop the property and put it back on the rolls. As I've been going through community associations throughout the city, I have found a growing frustration with city government. Phone calls are not returned, questions are not answered, and there's a feeling that government employees are not concerned with their problems. I happen to believe this is not the truth. I'm a government employee. I've worked for 30 years in government. There are some bad apples out there. We've got to change that. While there's no excuse for poor constituent services, city workers have had to endure pay cuts, layoffs, and are frustrated with the current management system. My administration will not tolerate this. Employees will be encouraged to report violations such as graffiti, trash, vacant houses, and other violations of constituent services. And I'm also going to let them know how valuable their jobs are. We can't work without good employees in the city of Wilmington. As I say, when you call to have your trash issue, you can only call one place about trash. You can't pick who's going to pick your trash up. So when you call, they need to be respectful for you and get back to you and answer your problem. In order to truly better deliver a service for every taxpayer dollar, we must become more efficient by pulling together the individuals who are responsible for delivering critical services to our neighborhoods. There must be one true team effort rather than a fragmented approach that exists today. My plan calls for L&I inspectors, the police, youth services, and constituent services to combine to address problems in one area. The name of this group will be called Targeted Action Group, or TAG. So here in Browntown, for example, you would have the same police officer in your area, you would have the same L&I inspector, you'd have the same constituent services person, and the same youth person. All would work together as a team to address the issues that are happening in your neighborhood. The city's financial future will be very challenging. Revenues are declining as costs continue to rise. Unpopular decisions will be required as we're needed to ensure the future of the city. As someone with over 25 years' experience in analyzing and preparing budgets, I'm uniquely qualified in this area. In addition, I serve on the city's finance committee. The city's got to operate more efficiently. Functions such as accounting, personnel, information technology, and maintenance should be consolidated, reduce duplication, and thereby cost. Some departments may need to be combined. Other city services being provided need to be reviewed to see if they're working correctly. I will propose the establishment of a business and city government working group made up of business leaders and both large and small corporations to evaluate the operations of the city and to make recommendations for improvements. Sometimes government needs to get outside of its comfort zone and bring the best and brightest minds together to do what is best for the city. As your mayor, I will work with the city council president, council members, and other elected officials to address needs of the city. We're not always going to be in agreement, but when we are in disagreement, I'm going to act civil. I'm not going to berate somebody else and jump up and down as to why I don't like them. We all have to work together. At the end of the day, we must have a legislative and executive branch that works together, because otherwise, if people see we are not working together, they're not going to want to work together with us. All the steps I've outlined strengthen our neighborhoods, but they alone will not work unless the residents of the city feel they are part of the process. For all too long, we have not valued your participation. You are the most important asset the city has. Again, for too long, the people of this city have not been engaged. We've had a current administration. It just has not worked well with people. That's not going to happen in my administration. We're going to work with everybody in the city, no matter what ideas they have. We're going to sit and listen to them. By enhancing our community associations and planning councils, residents will be empowered to improve their neighborhoods. As they say in the military, one team, one fight. Citizens, elected officials, churches, and the business community all need to partner together to make Wilmington a better place. We're not going to have a downtown or a brown town. We're going to have one town. We're going to have one place that we're all going to work together, because otherwise we're going to become fractured. In conclusion, I simply say this. I've had many positions of great power, and I'm a humble man. I'm just a kid who grew up in Browntown, who had a mother that's sitting in the first row, that kept an eye on me, and I had a good Catholic school education that got me on the right track. I came in when the street lights came on in the old days. That's when I came in. But that's what my values were. I was also someone who had a little bit of a thing called charisma, and I had the ability to be able to be in front of a bunch of people, and they always remembered, Kelly, for whatever it was, they always remembered who I was, and I treated people with respect. And that's the way I'm going to continue to do that if I become mayor. But what I do offer is the power of conviction. What I do offer is a belief in service before myself. And what I offer is a commitment to excellence and a heartfelt belief that people come before politics. Remember that, people come before politics. The next mayor will face many challenges, and we must have a sense of urgency about getting things accomplished. But we must stabilize our neighborhoods before we can move forward. As I said, we can't fix a flat tire on a moving car. The car's got a flat tire. We've got to fix it. We're never going to move forward to where we need to be. So in closing, as someone who's been a visible and effective leader, I am up for the challenge we face, and with your support, we will create, once again, a Wilmington as a proud place to live and work for everyone. Thank you.